Zayn Martel admitted that Sylvia was indeed kind of pretty, and her plump body must have been the object of fantasy to no small amount of men with normal libido. One of whom was Zayn Martel, a young man in his prime. He would be lying if he said that he had no physiological response. However, he was not a loose man, if you could call it that. He wasn't going to fuck with a woman he had just met.
Oh hell, what were you thinking in your perverted mind? By God, I'm just adjusting my belt. Listen, whatever unchaste woman you imagine me to be, I am not her. My clothes are too loose and I don't feel comfortable fighting in this state.
Sylvia grumbled, her delicate face turning even redder, and her eyes bloodshot with mad rage.
Oh, I see, you scared me.
Soon, Sylvia tidied up her clothes. As she was wearing a tight suit, her figure was more slender than Zayn Martel had imagined, but curvy in all the right places. A breath swept up. Sylvia seemed to have changed into another person. She was valiant and full of fighting spirit.
Let's begin.
Right here?
What's wrong? This place too small for our duel?
No, I'm afraid that without the help of the formation, this place would be destroyed by me.
He was not bragging, he was really worried. Once he transformed into the Ghost King Dragon Ape, the Beastland space, which spanned 5 kilometers, would not be enough for him to deal with. The next moment, he would overturn the rivers and seas, and the consequences would be terrible.
We'll see about that. Take this.
A long silver spear appeared in Sylvia's hand. The spear was like a flash of lightning and shot out like a dragon, as fast as the speed of light. A moment ago, she was still a few hundred meters away, but in the next second, she appeared directly in front of Zayn Martel. Waves of thunder and lightning power swirled around the long spear. The light was so bright that it temporarily blinded his eyesight.
You're dead meat.
Sylvia's faint voice sounded. The spear radiance was forcefully inserted into Zayn Martel's abdomen, but it only pierced through his clothes and did not cut through his flesh. Not even a trace was left on Zayn Martel's skin.
What?
To Sylvia's dismay and astonishment. Although she hadn't used her full strength, even someone with extraordinary strength couldn't have survived that blow. Zayn Martel did not seem to be in any pain or itch. Just how strong was his defensive strength?
My turn.
Zayn Martel offered. The sky-killing sword appeared in his hand. A strong sword vigor rolled out, and the sword light exploded, rushing towards Sylvia. The 3 streaks of sword energy were like 3 sword waves that tore through the air. The 3 streaks of sword energy pierced through Sylvia's body. However, there was no time for Zayn Martel to celebrate. This was because he knew that if Sylvia had been able to be selected as the Dragon Envoy of Beastland, then she definitely did not possess only such little strength. Sure enough, in the next moment, Sylvia's body began to twist and eventually disappeared like a wisp of smoke. Her bell-like laughter reached his ears.
Your strong defensive ability is your forte, it seems. You must have relied on your physical prowess to become the Dragon Envoy of Newland.
Oh, if only that were enough. It was merely dumb luck. I won this battle.
At the scene, he did not see any traces of Sylvia. All he could hear was the continuous rumbling of thunder and lightning, which lingered around Zayn Martel.
The extreme power of thunder. It's amazing that the power of thunder can be integrated into the body movement.
Zayn Martel saw through the reason for Sylvia's disappearance and spoke in a faint voice.
Since you can see it, can you take on my next attack?
In the void, there was still no trace of Sylvia. In the sky, there were thunder and lightning and dark clouds. The thunder and lightning in the whole sky seemed to resonate because of Sylvia's thunder power. There were actually thunder pillars as thick as bowls falling from the sky. A cold voice rang out. A huge bolt of lightning struck a certain spot, a few hundred meters in front of Zayn Martel, after which Sylvia appeared at that spot.
Ha!
Sylvia let out a loud cry and threw the spear toward Zayn Martel's body. Fast. It was incredibly fast. No sooner had the spear been thrown out than it hit Zayn Martel, leaving him no time to react. Even Zayn Martel's mysterious vertical eye failed to catch any trail of the thunder spear.
Human Emperor Palm.
Zayn Martel launched a slap and shot it at Sylvia. Sylvia transformed into a bolt of lightning and disappeared. The human emperor's palm missed its target. The next moment, Sylvia appeared behind Zayn Martel and shot 2 bright thunder spears. She hit Zayn Martel again. Just as Zane Martel was about to charge forward and retaliate, Sylvia's speed was simply too fast. Every time his footsteps left the ground, she would transform into a bolt of lightning, change his position, and attack Zane Martel with her Thunder Spear. Within a short span of a few breaths, Zane Martel had actually taken the toll of more than a dozen lightning spears. Although the power of the spear was not strong enough to hurt Zane Martel, he did not like being the underdog.
My turn.
Zane Martel rose into the sky and floated under the dark clouds. With a thought, the 8 balls of willpower energy in the willpower space began to tremble.
Ha! Do you think you can see my movements clearly just because you're standing up there? What a joke.
Even if you fly out of the edge of the universe, you still can't catch my tracks. Be a good boy and take this.
A bolt of lightning jumped back and forth in the void and quickly approached Zane Martel. Then a continuous stream of thunder spears shot out and the power became stronger and stronger. On the surface, Zane Martel did not move, but the mysterious vertical eye behind his forehead began to roll.
Left, right, right, front, back.
Zane Martel muttered to himself and gradually began to clearly catch Sylvia's movements and trajectory. The next moment, he finally locked onto Sylvia's figure.
There. Colorless world.
Zane Martel pressed his fingers on the spot between his brows and parted them, and a black light ray shot out from within. The beam of light was shockingly fast, running counter to the laws of physics, hitting Sylvia in a split second.
What in the world is this?
She, who had been hit by the colorless world, was stripped of the colors on her body and turned into black and white. With the increase in Zane Martel's realm and willpower, the once 1 meter colorless world had expanded to 2. Time seemed to have frozen in this 2 meter circular space. See, the wildly dancing hair and the shocked expression froze on her face.
Busted.
Zane Martel didn't hesitate. He clenched his fist and threw a punch at Sylvia's abdomen with great force. Sylvia fell from the sky like a human-body cannonball, like a falling star with roaring thunder and lightning. With a loud noise, a big pit appeared on the plane of magic soil. However, Sylvia still hadn't recovered from the impact of the colorless world. Seeing this, Zane Martel directly sat on her body. He grabbed her warm neck with one hand and spoke in a faint voice. He could not even sense her breath. After all, the colorless world was a move that could freeze time. Since time did not exist for her, it stood to reason that she couldn't even breathe. The colorless world had been broken.
Wow.
Sylvia's expression changed drastically. She spat out a mouthful of fresh blood onto Zane Martel's face.
What are you doing? What happened just now?
Sylvia's pupils suddenly contracted and her face turned livid. She had no recollection of the memories after being hit by the black light, as if someone had erased them. What was even stranger was that in the blink of an eye, she had been injured by Zane Martel, who was even sitting on top of her.
Damn it, Zane Martel, what have you done to me?
Streaks of thunder and lightning fell down. Thunder and lightning were writhing on Sylvia's body, a demonstration of her anger. Zane Martel had not used his full strength when he struck just now. Otherwise, Sylvia would have already been a corpse by now. But he also knew that it had been the same for Sylvia. Both of them wanted to learn from each other and stop when they should. However, a fresh wave of rage came over Sylvia. An impulse to kill Zane Martel rose in her heart.
Your neck will be crushed if you move again.
Zane Martel ruthlessly said as he pressed down on Sylvia. His hand was on her neck, and no matter how she attacked or how fast she was, she would not be faster than Zane Martel. As long as he gently exerted force, the other party would die in his hands. Sylvia's face was distorted with rage. She could not accept losing to Zane Martel just like that. She, the dragon envoy of Benzia, had only displayed a small speck of her strength earlier. However, this man had applied some unknown dirty means to cause her to lose all of her memories. What was worse was that Zane Martel was straddling her at this moment. She had no impression of what had just happened. If Zane Martel had done something ungentlemanly to her, wouldn't she? Naturally, Zane Martel had witnessed the change in her. He thought that he had been choking her too hard and she couldn't catch her breath. Immediately, he loosened his grip a little. After all, there was no personal vendetta between him and Sylvia prior to this.
You won.
Seeing this, the corners of Zane Martel's mouth lifted into a smile.
Get off of me.
Sylvia gave Zane Martel a nudge. Zane Martel immediately stood up and stretched out a hand to grab her. However, Sylvia, not in a good mood, perhaps because she had lost, shook off Zane Martel's hand and got to her feet on her own.
Tell me, how did you do it just now? Why can't I remember what you did to me at all?
The colorless world was Zane Martel's trump card. Hell would freeze over before he would tell her. So he found an excuse and hedged at her question.
Maybe it's because I was too fast. You couldn't catch me.
Only a fool would believe such nonsense. Sylvia knew that Zane Martel definitely had some trump cards up his sleeve. He would either erase other people's memories or use an even more brilliant method. A method so brilliant that he could even disturb his opponent's memory formation and end the battle. Then, Sylvia began to lower her head and actually began to check her clothes. Had he done anything to her? Was there anything missing from her?
What are you doing?
Sylvia glared at Zane Martel with an evil aura that soared to the sky, after which she snarled as she checked her clothes.
I'm examining if you've done that thing to me.
Sylvia was candid to a fault. Zane Martel was completely speechless.
Excuse me, am I that kind of man to you? Where on my face did you see I'm a shameless pervert and a loser?
I'm innocent. I rest my case.
Even now he was still a virgin, but since she suspected him, he would not miss the chance to play a good trick on her.
You know what? Save it. Do you think I'll be so stupid as to forget to put on all of your clothes after I take them off?
After which, Zane Martel purposefully put on a lewd expression and swept his lecherous gaze over Sylvia. Sylvia's body trembled as if she had heard a bombshell. Her eyes immediately became bloodshot. Tears welled up in her eyes.
Did you really do that to me? I'm going to kill you.
As Sylvia's killing intent soared into the sky, the surrounding temperature actually began to drop. A frosty fog pervaded the air, and crackling sounds could be heard from her hands.
Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire? This fool actually took it seriously. Only 2 minutes have passed. Is that how short a time she expected me to last? This is clearly an insult.
Stop. I was joking. I was joking.
I have a girlfriend. Why would I go after you?
Sylvia looked at him. Was he really joking? But what did he mean by the second sentence? Was he saying that she couldn't compare to his girlfriend?
Really? You really didn't do anything to me?
As true as can be. I'd stake my life on it.
Zane Martel nodded heavily.
Humph. If you had done something, I'll chop off your hand. Let's continue with the trade.